Welcome to another episode of the Pima Community College Governing District Board of November 10th, 2021. This is our regular meeting and I am calling it to order. The first item of business is our roll call. Mr. Sylvan, if you could please read the roll.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Catherine Ripley.
Here.
Damian Klinko.
Here.
Maria Garcia.
Here.
Dr. Meredith Hay.
Here.
Luis Gonzalez.
Here.
All members are present.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Mr. Sylvan. Next, we have our public comment call to the audience. The Pima Community College Governing Board welcomes public comment on issues within the jurisdiction of the college. Generally, the total time for public comment will be limited to 45 minutes and comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual. These time limits may be modified by the board chair or board. Individuals sharing comments are expected to communicate with decorum and respect. Individuals who engage in disorderly conduct or who use divisive or insulting language may have their time reduced or concluded by the board chair. At the conclusion of the public comment, individual board members may respond to criticism made by those who address the board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that the matter be put on a future agenda. Members of the board, however, may not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during public comment unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. Finally, please be advised that internal college processes are available for students and employees for communication. We have a number of individuals this evening wishing to speak, and we are going to start with, I may butcher a few of these names, so my apology in advance, but the first is Krashichia Nuwimana.
Crescentia Nduimana.
Welcome. Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Crescentia Nduimana. I serve as the student success coach in the refugee educational program at Pima Community College. Part of my role is to support students during the journey of learning English and getting settled in the US as they are newly arrived refugees. I help them with goal setting, connect them with community resources as needed, and make sure to support every student in the process of schooling. Our students have limited access to technology and have limited digital literacy skills. Our college's effort to provide iPad and hotspot to our students was vital for their studies. The iPad technology is very user-friendly. Getting devices helped our students to get connected to the English classes, but it also meant more to them. One student shared how sad she was when her iPad was broken. She expressed that not only the iPad helped her to continue her classes during the pandemic, but also it helped her to reduce stress and kept her mentally healthy by listening to gospel music during her tough times. She then said, "If I didn't have this iPad, I don't know where I would be today." I could hear her appreciation in her voice, and I was lucky to witness the excitement on her face when she got the new iPad as a replacement for the old one. Another student appreciated having an iPad too. For her, the iPad is small enough to fit in her purse. Therefore, she is capable of taking classes from anywhere. She logs in during her breaks at work and participates in Zoom classes every day, which she couldn't do if she didn't have an iPad with her. I remember her saying, "How cool is it to take classes from anywhere?" On that note, I would like to thank Pima Community College on behalf of our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for sharing that inspiring story and the work that you're doing. Next, we have Sarah Hagigi and Samir Toka.
Hi, my name is Sarah Hagigi, and I'm the Refugee Education Program Coordinator at Pima Community College. We call the program REP. We have been contracted with the Department of Economic Security Refugee Resettlement Program since 1987 to offer English classes to refugees, SIVs, and asylees who've been living in the US for less than 5 years and have been resettled in Pima County. We receive students with various backgrounds. Some of them come with higher degrees from their native country. Some students come with some level of education, but it's been in non-Romance languages. And we also receive adult emergent readers. Adult emergent readers are those students who lived in refugee camps for years, and I'm talking about 10 to 20 years, and didn't get an opportunity to receive formal education in their native language. They are experimenting with formal education for the first time in our college, where they learn English as an additional language. These learners are beginning readers, but they are definitely not beginning thinkers or problem solvers. They come with vast knowledge from life, which we use to help them learn English. We are very excited that our program is housed in such a supportive community college. Our refugee students have benefited from a lot of resources, especially during the pandemic, which have helped our learners to thrive. We appreciate that the college provided a number of iPads and hotspots to the REP students. Without having these devices, REP students wouldn't be able to attend classes during the pandemic. The majority of REP students don't have access to technology and have limited digital literacy skills. Since the pandemic started, REP teachers have been creating teacher-made learning packets for students. The college helped to mail those to students in a timely manner. Then we used the iPads to provide classes on multiple platforms such as WhatsApp and Zoom. It is interesting to know that although our students have limited digital literacy skills, when they enter our program, they build digital literacy as fast or faster than English. Thank you again for being supportive of our students and program. And I pass it to Summer.
Hi, my name is Tuka. I am from Syria. I came to the United States in 2016. I love American people and I love hearing their language. I enrolled in the Pima College Refugee Education Program to learn English. The education system is very good in Pima College. I like all my teachers and the education they provide. I meet my teachers every day for my studies. I attended citizenship classes and recently I became a US citizen. I am very happy and I thank my teachers for helping me. Now I am very happy because I have a country where I can stay forever in peace. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your inspiring story and for utilizing Pima Community College. That's really why we're here, is to be able to support programs like this that can make such a transformational impact on individuals' lives. And we really appreciate you taking the time from your evening to share that with us. Thank you. Next, we have Michaela Hayes. Ms. Hayes.
Okay. So good evening, Chair Klinko, Chancellor, board members, colleagues, and guests. On behalf of PCCEA, I would like to highlight some of the amazing things that faculty have done during sabbaticals over the past few years. Sabbaticals are competitive professional development opportunities where the college invests in a faculty member in their work by releasing them from teaching for one semester to pursue projects that provide great value to our students and the college community. Sabbaticals require a detailed proposal, ongoing accountability during the sabbatical, and commitment to present results upon completion. Sabbaticals give faculty time they need to develop large-scale, innovative projects that would not otherwise be feasible. These projects create ripple effects of positive change within their division. Having working artists, published authors, and faculty connected to national professional organizations conducting original research elevates our educational programs and makes Pima a richer experience for our students. The return on investment for the college for each sabbatical is significant. Faculty gain a renewed zeal for teaching and connection to the field so they can continue to bring relevance, currency, and innovation to the classroom. A few examples of sabbatical projects are: Dr. Amy Kramer wrote 12 chapters of a college-level textbook for use with the Voices on the Economy Vote program. The text has since been expanded and is being used as an OER text for Economics 150. The VOTE program also incorporates professional development workshops from middle school through university educators. Robert Foth created an OER textbook from Math 142 that is now being used across the college. Robert was able to take a second sabbatical this past spring to extensively update and improve it. This text is being used in 51 sections of this terminal math course just this fall, a large cost savings to more than 1,000 students. Elizabeth Rollins' sabbatical involved research on writing fiction, completing 10 chapters of a guidebook on writing, and creating and conducting writing workshops, one for Pima students and one for faculty, staff, and administrators. Kylie Seegers created a library of inquiry-based and active learning activities for 2 transfer-level math courses and went on to create an active learning academy for faculty. These research-based practices have been shown to reduce inequities and increase success rates for historically underrepresented students. Next spring, a second run of the academy will train even more full-time and adjunct faculty. As you can see, the impacts of this work reach well beyond the individual faculty member. Sabbaticals cost about $13,050 to hire adjunct faculty to cover classes and have been one of the faculty resources reduced. Each year, policy allows for up to 12 full semester sabbaticals, though for each of the last several years, only 6 have been funded. This coming year, a decision was made to fund only 4. In recognition of the great work sabbaticals make possible, with tangible benefits for our student experience, helping move our college towards common strategic goals, I would like to ask for a commitment during the budget process to restore faculty sabbaticals back to the level allowed for in policy. Thank you.
Michaela, thank you very much. Chancellor Lambert, I actually didn't know that we had cut the sabbaticals as deeply as we have. If we could please take a look at that and include it as part of the discussion. I think it's really important for academic flourishing and the opportunity to really explore new ideas that then flow into the value of our educational offerings. So
we'll be glad to take a look at what we can do.
Okay, thank you so much. And Ms. Hayes, thank you again for bringing that to our attention. Next speaker is Howard Stewart.
They are not connected.
Okay, next we have Michael Koskis.
They are connected. Michael?
Mr. Koskis? Should we come back? We'll do Isaac Figueroa next.
They are not connected.
Okay. And finally, we have Brian Hanley.
They are connected.
Yes, thank you, Chair Klinko. This is Brian Hanley. I'm a current board chair for the Pima Foundation. I want to first thank the governing board for your support. I've had an opportunity to talk with you, Chair Klinko, and meet Kat as well. I look forward to opportunity to meet the rest of the Board of Governors at another event. If you see me, please come up and introduce yourself, and I will do the same and try to seek you out as well. It's great to hear the stories that I've been listening to thus far regarding student achievement, as well as the dedication of teaching staff at Pima. I think that's the message that we need to continue to put out to the public. I'm very excited to be in the position that I am, because I see all the great things that are occurring at Pima. And the most recent one that I can applaud everyone for is the support and dedication towards the Center of Excellence at the IT department, in particular the partnership for the live fire cyber warfare range. I think this is something that most people on this call probably don't even recognize as being a jewel within Pima College. I just read today that in 2020 there was almost $385 million extorted through cyber terrorist attacks around the world. And to think that we have a program specific at Pima that not only helps to thwart that for our own community, but perhaps for our entire country, and to set potential students up for these incredibly rewarding careers is absolutely amazing that is occurring here at our community college. And we can go on and on with the different stories, but again, I just want to thank everyone for their engagement. It shows that we are all equally passionate about Pima, and our end goal is the same thing: to continue to grow the programs, to continue to provide the opportunities for deserving students, and to see that thrive throughout Pima, Tucson, and Pima County. So thank you for your time. I look forward to engaging with the rest of the Board of Governors at the next opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Hanley, and thank you on behalf of the entire governing board for everything you do for the foundation, the time commitment that you're making to help support the students at this college. We're all in this together. I always say this is a team sport, and you are an important part of that. So thank you and your entire board for everything they do. And please express this board's gratitude to the full foundation board. If we could revisit again, Howard Stewart.
They have disconnected.
Michael Koskis.
Still not in.
And finally, Isaac Figueroa.
Not in.
Okay, so that concludes our comment and call to the audience. The next item is our governing board recognition and awards. I'm going to begin, is it Dr. I'm going to start by handing it over to Dr. David Doré, our President of Campus and Executive Vice Chancellor of Student Experience and Workforce Development, and our Faculty Emeritus recognition with Dr. Dolores Duran-Cerda, Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs.
Thank you very much, Chair Klinko. And it is an honor to recognize our students, our community, and our employees who are being recognized this evening for really extraordinary events. And so I will begin with our students. We have one student that we are recognizing this evening, and that is Mr. Samuel Phillips. And he is being recognized by the Boy Scouts of America for the following: 7 Silver Eagle Palms recognizing receipt of all 137 merit badges that are possible to earn in Boy Scouts of America, and 4 years senior leadership of Boy Scout Troop 733 at St. Joseph's Catholic Parish, the National Medal for Outdoor Achievement International Spirit Award, the Dr. Bernard Harris Supernova STEM Award, Outdoor Ethics Action Award, Venturing Pathfinder Award, the 50th Anniversary Environmental Protection Agency Award, and the National Outdoor Achievement Award for over 210 nights of camping, 330 miles of hiking, 440 miles of riding, 150 hours of aquatics, and 45 hours of conversation projects during BSA events. Mr. Phillips is now president of Venture Crew 733, a merit badge counselor, and adult volunteer for the troop. So congratulations to Mr. Sam Phillips. Our next awardee is our community. We have one awardee from the community, and that is Ms. Laura Porfirio. And she has been awarded the Lifelong Learning Advocate Award in honor of Francis E. Blake by the Arizona Association for Lifelong Learning. Congratulations to Laura. And our next category is for our employees. And our first employee is Ms. Sarah Hajiji. And Sarah received the All Arizona Association for Lifelong Learning Rookie of the Year Award. She was also selected to represent Arizona in the Coalition of Adult Basic Education 2021 State Advocates for Adult Education Fellowship. Congratulations to Sarah. Our next awardee is our provost, Dr. Dolores Duran-Cerda. And Dr. Duran-Cerda was elected to the National Phi Beta Kappa Senate. Congratulations, Dolores. Our next awardee is Mr. Don Martin. Dawn is the president-elect of the board of directors of the National Network of Health Career Programs in two-year colleges. This is a 4-year term of office. Congratulations, Dawn. Our next awardee is Mr. Robert Foth. Robert was selected to receive the award for outstanding e-learning faculty from the Instructional Technology Council. Congratulations, Robert. Our next awardee is Dr. Mays Ahmed. Mays was the recipient of the 2021 Association of Community College Trustees Pacific Region Faculty Member of the Year Award. Congratulations, Mays. Our next awardee is Ms. Kate Schmidt, and she is being awarded for completing a strategic human resources certificate program at Cornell, focused on diversity and inclusion, strategic talent management, and analytics. Congratulations, Kate. Ms. Dawn Wire. Dawn was recognized by the Pima County Department of Environmental Quality for compliance with a permit and authorization to operate the emergency diesel generator. Congratulations, Dawn, and thank you for your service. Our next awardee is our Chief of Police, Ms. Michelle Neuenhuis, who has been recognized by the Department of Labor, Occupational Safety and Health Administration for participating in the 2021 Sound and Safety Week. Next awardee is Mr. J.M. Aldridge, who is recognized by the Department of Labor, Occupational Safety and Health Administration for participating in the 2021 Sound and Safety Week. Next is Mr. Lee Heller, who was recognized by the Department of Labor for participating in the 2021 Sound and Safety Week. Actually, Mr. John Semple was also recognized for participating in the Sound and Safety Week. Ms. Lori Thomas was recognized for participating in the 2021 Sound and Safety Week. Mr. Robert Ellison was recognized for participating in the Sound and Safety Week. And finally, Ms. Audrey Keith was also recognized for participating in the 2021 Sound and Safety Week. So on behalf of all of our board members, the entire college, we want to congratulate all of our recipients. And now I'd like to turn it over to our provost, Dr. Dilan Serda.
Thank you, Dr. Dure. That's wonderful. I'm so proud of all of our students and employees who received this recognition. Good evening, Chairperson Klinko, members of the board, Chancellor Lambert, guests, and colleagues. It is my honor and pleasure to present our new faculty emeriti recipients. There were 3 this year, and I believe at least 2 of them have joined us in our meeting today. I will first provide some context so you understand the background of this honor, and then I will share with you a little bit about each of the 3 recipients. So the governing board confers emeritus status on distinguished individuals retired from the college to signify honor and respect for outstanding accomplishments and contributions to the college over many years. Faculty and administrators receiving such an award exemplify the characteristics of ideal community college educators who, through their professional careers at Pima College, have contributed significantly to their discipline, to student success, to professional organizations, their campuses, and to the Pima community. Emeritus nominations come from the Faculty Senate and the Chancellor's Executive Leadership Team, who forward the recommended nominations to the Governing Board for approval. The Faculty Emeriti receive several benefits, such as a tuition waiver, a lifetime email, and a library card that gives them the same access and privileges at a Pima College library as full-time faculty. They will also be receiving a beautiful framed certificate in the mail. So you'll be receiving that next week. So I am pleased to announce the 3 recipients. And they are Dr. Gail Gonzalez, Dr. Gary Meckler, and Becky Moore. They have now been awarded emeritus status from Pima Community College. Yay. So now I'd like to share a little bit about each one of them. Dr. Gail Gonzalez began working for Pima College in 1993-1994 as a co-author of the NCA report. She served on the NCA reaccreditation team again in 2010 and 2011 as a faculty co-chair of the Student Learning Criterion, and then again in 2016 and 2017, and was recognized for exemplary contributions that helped lead the college from being removed from sanction. She started teaching part-time in 1994 as a telecourse instructor on the Pima College cable channel, then acted as interim director of employee relations and professional development for 4 years. She developed a professional development program for newly hired faculty with Dr. Rosemary Schultz, which is now known as the Faculty Learning Academy and was a model for several other colleges as well. And this is where I first met Dr. Gonzalez. I was in the cohort when she was leading this effort, so when I was first hired. She began teaching full-time at the new Desert Vista campus in 1998, and then moved to the new Northwest campus in 2005, where she served as department chair. Some of her outstanding work includes completing the professional program on neuropsychological assessment at the University of California at Berkeley. She created an outline learning app, which increased student grades on comprehensive finals, and completed the United Nations program called Global Education for the 21st Century at the University for Peace in Costa Rica. So congratulations to Dr. Gail Gonzalez. Next, I'll share some information with you regarding Dr. Gary Meckler. And I see Dr. Meckler is here. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Meckler has conducted research in the field of astronomy, in particular, photoelectric photometry and I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, spectroscopy of stars at major observatories in US and in Chile and in space to pursue his studies of double stars. His career started running the planetariums at the Cleveland and Cincinnati Natural History Museums. He also taught physics and astronomy for several universities in Ohio and Kentucky before moving to Tucson to work as the public information officer for the Kitt Peak National Observatory. His first full-time astronomy class as a faculty member, and he's been in that role since his retirement since 2020, after 37 years of service. He served as astronomy physics department chair, astronomy lead faculty, a faculty senator, and participated on numerous college committees. He was also a founding member of the International Dark Sky Association, an association committed to limiting light pollution to preserve night skies for astronomical research, which now has 130 chapters around the world and thousands of members. So we congratulate Dr. Gary Meckler for his contributions to Pima College and to the community. And our third recipient, who's also joined us tonight, is Becky Moore. And she was the educational support faculty librarian who retired from Pima in May of 2019 after 47 years of service. She still remembers a visit to her graduate school at the University of Arizona when a guest speaker from Tucson's fledgling community college led her to imagine, maybe I'll be able to work there someday. She attained her dream job in 1972, a little over a year after completing West Campus, where she was a student. And when, as we say here, a card catalog was the pinnacle of technology. Gas was 36 cents, and you didn't need a phone to read the newspaper. Becky began as a cataloging librarian at West Campus and went on to be a reference librarian East Campus. She has served in PCCA, Faculty Council, now known as Faculty Senate, and also in Faculty Senate, as well as a myriad of college committees and work groups. Becky's great love has always been teaching, mentoring, and serving our college's community. Pima Community College will forever be indebted to her. So let's give Becky a round of applause as well. And to all of the 3 recipients, we are extremely grateful for your contributions, your dedication, and your commitment to student success, to the college, and to your field of expertise, and to the teaching and learning community. Thank you for your legacy, and congratulations as new faculty emeriti. Thank you. And with that, I will pass it back to Chairperson Klinko.
Yeah, on behalf of the governing board, I really want to congratulate Dr. Gail Gonzalez, Gary Meckler, and Becky Moore. This college clearly owes you and this community owes you a debt of gratitude for your service and the incredible teaching skills that you have brought that have impacted generations of students. We really appreciate that, and is a small token, I think, of what this college can do to recognize your incredible contribution. So thank you very much. We really are owe you a debt.
It's my honor. Thank you.
And I see for those who are not, who can't see us all on the boxes, all of my colleagues are clapping. So, so again, congratulations. Okay. The next item on our agenda is remarks by the governing board. We'll start with Mr. Gonzalez.
Good evening. I have nothing much to say at this point, but I do want to acknowledge all the people that were recognized in reference to really providing such a great commitment to the college. As mentioned a while ago with Ms. Becky Moore, I think it's outstanding, but I think that's the spirit of what the college is. I think it's very important, as Mr. Klinko mentioned, in providing those instruction, those one-to-one with the students for the last 4 generations. I think it's ideal, but more important, you as teachers and faculty and staff, you make a big difference. I know that because I've heard it from my grandkids, 2 of them that are in college right now at Pima, and they really like the school, but they also like certain teachers and how they promote, but also how they instruct. And I think that's one of the best compliments that I've heard so far in reference to the teaching staff of our employees, the faculty and staff. I do acknowledge and really am happy in reference to this acknowledgement and recognition for all those teachers. But that's the only report that I have for right now. We need to keep on doing in supporting our faculty and staff and employees of the great job they've been doing so far, and will continue not only today but tomorrow as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez. Ms. Garcia. We'll come back to Ms. Garcia because we can't hear you if you are speaking. Your microphone is muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening to everyone that has taken the time to view the Pima Community College Governing Board meeting. When I woke up this morning, I asked myself, what are the reasons for serving on this board? I care deeply about the future of the college, and I want to be a voice that addresses the concerns and needs of our community. In my heart, I know that Pima is the only option for the underserved residents of our community. I am a product of that community. Everyone that serves on this board has diverse backgrounds and experiences. I am a product of the underserved community. My observations and opinions are quite different from those who do not share my experiences. I ask my fellow board members to consider their reasons for serving on this board. I have learned, wait, I'm sorry, I kind of lost my place here. Serving on this board has been a learning experience for me. The ideas or philosophy that has guided me is the principles of shared governance. I believe that the college has room for improving its policies and behaviors. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this thing up. I have learned, oh my God, there are problems to be solved at every institution, and Pima is no different. I believe that trivializing the HLC focused visit is short-sighted and will negatively impact Pima. No one can say with certainty what the HLC will find, but they do not conduct these visits on a whim. The college may take the HLC visit as a warning that we must reflect on our operations and make changes where necessary. My contacts in higher education have assured me that our faculty is doing an outstanding job, and we as board members should do all in our power to support them. This must begin by improving the work environment and increasing salaries. I feel that the primary obligation of a board member is to create policies that benefit our community and students, and to assure that our employees are treated with respect. I know that each board member shares these commitments to our faculty, staff, and community. On October 15th, an email was sent out to the faculty and staff on behalf of the chancellor that informed employees of a focused visit by the HLC, which is the Higher Learning Commission. They are our creditor. This email is an example of the lack of candor, transparency, and openness that has characterized this administration in my time on the board. This email fails to document the primary cause of the focus visit by the HLC. Faculty and staff should be aware that Bill Ward filed a complaint with the Higher Learning Commission on June 30th of 21. HLC concluded that the complaint raised potential concerns regarding the institution's compliance with HLC requirements, and it found sufficient merit to require a response by the college. On October 7th of 21, the HLC informed the chancellor that its Institutional Action Council would schedule a focus visit on April of 2022. The October 7th letter from the commission provides no factual basis for the conclusion in the chancellor's October 15th email on the HLC focus visit. I have been repeatedly told that the chancellor is the center of the college operations. Mr. Sylvan and Mr. Klinko have asserted that the chancellor's authority has few limits. In my judgment, the chancellor and certain members of the board have established a symbiotic relationship which prevents the board from acting independently and from taking appropriate actions to safeguard the well-being of the college employees. For a board member to make an informal decision, they must be provided an opportunity to question actions by the administration, and they should be given an opportunity to fully articulate their concerns at a public meeting. I regret to inform the faculty and staff that safeguarding the rights of our employees is not a priority at PCC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. Dr. Hay.
I have no comments today. Thank you.
Ms. Ripley.
Yes, thank you. I have a few shout outs to make. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think I'm on. First of all, I want to acknowledge all of the awardees. Thank you again. Congratulations for all you do for us, the school and the community, and all the people that we serve. There are too many people, programs, events, and day-to-day heroes than we have time to mention. But I just wanted to make a few shout outs. I've been visiting all of the campuses this past month, and my mind is blown at every single visit. I really just want to give a shout out to a few of the departments right now, but please know that we are collectively doing, you all, the Herculean work of not only keeping this college afloat over the past 22 months, but we are thriving. And my observations lead me to one reason. We're working as a community within a community. We are a community within a community. So think about that and know this. Sacrifices have been made without fanfare, and you're not going to hear about it. You're not going to read about it. We've course corrected every time a new challenge or problem came up before it turned into a crisis. Our faculty and staff made online learning happen literally overnight. And as we move toward a more in-person teaching, they continue to be, and I say this not lightly, but our frontline workers, or in the military, tip of the spear, if you will, in academia. They continue to jump through hoops. They pour their hearts and souls into our students every single day. I thank the leadership from Chancellor Lambert on down to our administrators, faculty, and staff for pulling us all together and not forgetting our common goal to provide affordable, high quality, and accessible education to everyone who deserves it and desires it. A testament to this was given today by Sarah and Samir, our precious immigrant population. I mean, they are near and dear to my heart as an adjunct professor here at Pima Community College for 5 years. I have many former students who were immigrants, who were seeking asylum, who were seeking a better life and a better way of life for their families. So I was moved to tears by that. Thank you so much. Second time I was moved to tears earlier today. A shout out to the Veterans Center and Hector Costa and what he's been doing. We were the veterans from Pima Community College were presented with a handmade quilt from women who are part of Quilts of Valor. And you'll have to read the story, but it did draw me to tears. I also would like to shout out to West Campus, the site for our next great Center of Excellence, where we hosted a visit from the Secretary of Education and Congressman Grijalva. So although free tuition for community colleges didn't make the cut this time from the federal government, as you all read and watching the television about what's going on with the new request for the budget, rest assured the fight is not over. And in doing my research, I found that most students here at Pima Community College, if qualified and really need it, are already receiving close to free tuition and fees here at Pima already through our grants, our scholarship programs, paid internship programs that we have. And this is because we've been able to team with our community. So until we get more funding and state funding returned, we'll continue these workarounds. So shout out to everybody who has made that happen. A shout out to East Campus, our newest Center of Excellence in cybersecurity and IT. These folks, these geniuses, will blow your mind. Cybersecurity will make or break us as a society. Teaming with the greater Tucson community and businesses, we will be bolstering our ability to place people into lucrative and important jobs in a very short time and help to protect the safety and health of our citizens right here, right now. So thank you, Center of Excellence for Cybersecurity and IT. Another big shout out, I'm almost finished here, to the music, fashion, design, and art departments who have also kept busy and behind the scenes throughout the last 22 months with recitals, gallery showings, and most recently, big plug, this Thursday's opening night for Little Shop of Horrors, which I'm totally psyched about. I got my tickets. I'm a musical theater geek. So get your tickets. Please support our arts. We need the arts in our community in all mediums. It's what makes us a civilization, a culture, and a community. It's really what makes us human. And I have to shout out to the student athletes, Aztecs, volleyball, cross country, basketball, baseball, soccer teams. You guys are rocking it. Specifically, our women's soccer team who took the NJCAA Region 1 Division 2 championship. Awesome. Our men's cross country team, also the first NJCAA Region 1 championship since 1981. Our amazing women's cross country team also rocked the championship in second place. Good luck next week in Kansas for the nationals. The discipline it takes to be a student athlete is what it will take to become leaders in our community and in the world. Sports, music, art are truly universal languages. I'd also like to acknowledge the ongoing effort that we have in teaming with our community for climate change. Stand by, everyone. There's great things happening behind the scenes. We're really looking at Pima Community College as an anchor for addressing climate change through education here in Southern Arizona. I have to mention this, sorry, student mentors. I met one of our student mentors at East Campus the other day. She didn't know who I was. So of course I asked her about being a mentor and what she felt about Pima Community College. She was literally beaming. She not only expressed her joy about mentoring, but truly loves her time at Pima. I got the same reaction from folks in the bookstore, in the library, even at the loading docks. So it's a happy place. And I'm happy to be a small part of this. And when I was in the military, when I saw happy sailors, it was always a testament to who was running that ship. And so, again, I would like to thank the chancellor personally, and I would like to thank his administrators and the faculty and staff and all of the employees that make this team, this family happen. And sorry, one more, I would be remiss in not mentioning our AV crew, our audiovisual crew. They're here now. Many barely notice that they're even there, but I do. At every event, from graduation, certificate ceremonies, sports, ribbon cuttings, your live streams, the folks in our audiovisual, PCC TV, and external affairs are not only truly talented professionals, but always provide beautiful work to help capture all of the thousands of things that we do every day throughout the county. Check their Instagram posts, you'll see. Okay, I gotta stop, but mostly we would not be here without our students. Thank you so much for trusting us with your education, with your futures. Our students are the best. They want to be here. They fought to be here. Thank you, Chancellor, President Doré, and Provost Duran-Sarda for taking our request to heart to start bolstering student services, recruitment, and retention programs with your amazingly robust enrollment plan that was laid out a couple board meetings ago, in order to not only recruit, but keep and nurture future students here at Pima. It's hugely important. Adding 5 more staffers specifically targeted at Hispanic speaking community and in direct collaboration with our tribal partners is a huge start. Thank you so much. So there's so much more that I can do. I'm boggled. We can never truly show you all our gratitude in a tangible way, but I do hope that you all can be as proud as I am to be part of this important community anchor. There are more folks than you will ever know who are out there working, thriving, and living because they went to Pima Community College. From our mayor on down to so many others, nurses, doctors, technicians, educators. So be proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Colonel Ripley, for your enthusiasm. It is heartwarming to hear your summary each month that articulates just the incredible things that the college is doing. I just wanted to highlight a few things that I thought were pretty exceptional over the last month since our last meeting. The first and foremost was the fact that Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona came to visit. I mean, for someone from the cabinet to come to our community college to see the work that we're doing and to talk with our students about their experience. He spoke with students in our allied health department. And I will say, over the course of the pandemic, I have really missed the opportunity to interact with students in that way and to hear the transformational experiences that they're having and that their lives are having, that their families are having because of the education that they're getting at Pima Community College was not just inspirational, it was moving. And I really hope that we can schedule a time soon to have those same students come and talk to the board because listening to that dialogue really bolstered my sense of why and resolve for why we're here, because it really is about, at the end of the day, the students. Again, massive congratulations to the entire team in the ribbon cutting, especially to Dean James Craig for the new IT Center of Excellence and Cybersecurity. I was really stunned to hear that there are 450,000 jobs open currently in the United States in this sector, and that we are at the forefront of beginning to fill that need. So if there are future students out there listening, I hope they will, looking for a high paid job, I hope they will quickly look into our Center of Excellence and the degree programs that we offer. I also want to briefly congratulate Mays Ahmad for the award from the American Association of Community College Trustees. I was also really humbled and honored to receive the award as the Trustee Leadership Award for the Western or the Pacific region at the conference in San Diego. Over the last 6 years, the college has undergone tremendous transformation. I look back to the point where I joined the board to today, and it is almost an unrecognizable place. I think we have come huge leaps and bounds as part of this transformation to realign to the needs of our community in a much more strategic and profound way. But none of this happens alone. I'm humbled because it takes every single person in this college and every single person on this board and every single person on this call to join together to make that transformational change. And that award is really just reflective of the work that we've all done together. It's so powerful because we focus on student success and we create economic ladders that are leveling the American playing field. You know, the Tibetan Buddhist teacher, and I'm going to read this quote, Chengan Tungapa said, "The bad news is you're falling through the air, nothing to hang on to, no parachute. The good news is there's no ground." And I'm really thrilled that I'm falling with all of you because I think together we are making transformational change for this city, for this region, and for the students who attend our college. And I will challenge each and every one on this call and every employee of this institution to double down and focus even more, making sure that no students fall through the cracks. You know, we have to do better, and we're doing well, but we need to do even better. We can't let anybody slip. It's all of our responsibility. So thank you so much for the time this evening. I think I've exceeded my time limit, and so we will move on. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our Pima mission moment. This is a new item that I think we're going to feature students. Chancellor Lambert, do you want to introduce this item?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We're so pleased that the board was willing to create a new item to allow us to really showcase the best of Pima. And really, I just want to give a nod to the United Way. They do a mission moment at the start of their agenda, and I find that to be so a positive reminder of why we do what we do. So thank you for supporting this. I'm going to turn this over to Phil Burdick, who's going to introduce this month's mission moment.
And Phil, before you go to jump in, I forgot one thing. I just wanted to note that, as I'm sure everyone on this meeting knows, that one of the college's long-term partners, the administrator of Pima County, Chuck Huckleberry, was in a very terrible bicycle accident and has been hospitalized. And I just wanted to acknowledge and just sort of take a very, very quick moment to just sort of send some good thoughts to him. So if we could just take sort of a small moment of silence and send healing energy his way. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Burdick, I apologize for interrupting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Klinko. Thank you, Chancellor Lambert, members of the board. It's my pleasure to introduce as our first mission moment. And I think this is an event where some of the board members attended, but I wanted just to reiterate just really tremendous progress on our campus by the Cyber IT program and its ribbon cutting for its Center of Excellence. And with that, let me turn it over to Dean Jim Craig. Jim?
Thank you, Phil. And hello, everybody. Chairperson Klinko, distinguished board, Chancellor Lambert, PCC, family and friends. I'm Jim Craig. I'm the Dean of Business and Information Technology. And I wanted to let you know a little bit about the Center of Excellence. The mission of the Center of Excellence for IT and Cybersecurity is to fundamentally change how IT and cybersecurity is taught. The mission is to create a nexus, an interdisciplinary community with industry partners, with industry experts, with faculty, with staff, with people from a number of different disciplines coming together to learn more about cybersecurity. The purpose is to raise up, to skill, to reskill, to train and retrain our underserved community, existing professionals, everybody in the community, so that we can raise a generation of future cybersecurity and IT experts that are poised and ready to protect Tucson community, Pima community, the state of Arizona, and even the entire nation. To do this, we must listen to our industry. We must listen carefully about what they need, what's missing, where are the gaps. And so that's exactly what we've done, is partner with a number of industry experts and our advisory committee. And there is no better example of that than Brett Scott. Brett Scott is the director of the advanced solution teams at Tech Data Cynics. He's also the co-founder of the National Cyber Warfare Range. Brett has been a friend and a colleague and a champion for cybersecurity education. Brett has graciously stood up the Arizona Cyber Warfare Range at the East Campus, which is the first live fire cyber warfare range in a community college anywhere in the country. Brett is a world-class cybersecurity expert. He's a patriot, and he's been helping defend our country for many, many years. Without further ado, I introduce you to Brett Scott.
Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. And kind words, I probably don't deserve them. But I have to tell you that the success that we are enjoying together starts with a bold decision, right? That bold decision was made by Chancellor Lambert. If you can imagine a chancellor saying, here are all these hackers that are doing potentially dangerous things. I'd like to bring all these folks to my community college to make better students and better cybersecurity experts. That is truly a bold, innovative, and courageous decision to make. And into that void that Chancellor Lambert enabled comes Jim Craig. And he is backed by Will McCullen, he's backed by Chris Bonhorst. And all of these leaders are collaborative, they are selfless, and they're willing to work towards a mission and a goal together without any expectation of glory or any of those other silly things that people with vanity waste their time with. But I have to tell you that because of the enablement of that decision by Chancellor Lambert, because of the incredible leadership and innovative thought process of Jim Craig, and of course, the unbelievable amount of labor and work that Will McCullen and Chris Bonhorst continue to do every day, we have something truly exceptional. So I work for a company called TD Cynics, which most of you have never heard of. We are the biggest company that you have no idea we are. We are the largest distributive technology in the world. And the National Cyber Warfare Foundation was founded, we're about to hit our 10-year anniversary in 2012. And we were a bunch of absolute radicals, right? Everyone was like, what on earth is going on? But we have had a tremendous response globally to all of the things that we're doing. I mean, for example, it's a really odd thing, but the country of China sent a delegation through the State Department to come meet with us and talk with us about what we're doing and all of the things that are accomplishing. Ambassadors for countries, not our ambassador to those countries, their ambassadors to us come to talk and say, we love what you're doing. We really want this to be a part of what we are doing. And obviously there is a massive list of educational institutions that would very much like to be a part of what Pima Community College has established and the success that they are already receiving in the industry and in the world. So I have to tell you that is my full commitment to make sure that Pima Community College always remains on the very top of that heap. Why? Courageous effort, selfless innovation, all of those things make Pima Community College the right leader to follow to help us transform our cybersecurity posture in a national footprint, but also amongst all of our allies globally. Cybersecurity touches every aspect of our lives. And what we are seeing is something that for 10 years, the National Cyber Warfare Foundation has been trying to inculcate, but it has had difficulty because everyone claims to be an expert in cybersecurity. Unfortunately, nobody is really good at this stuff. If they did any other job, they would be indicted for fraud. So it is really important that we produce competent cyber warriors out there. The competency comes from knowledge, people who are doing, people who have actually done, people who actually know stuff, not a book, not some curriculum that was published by some dude that spoke at a conference. We're talking about actual knowledge and actual cyber warriors. The great thing about being real in cybersecurity is the other real players, they find you. This is truly, if you build it, they will come moment. And that's not a common thing in the world these days. So I have to tell you that it is very exciting to see, for example, transformational initiatives like engaging diversity of thinking in cybersecurity. I'm not talking about the color of your skin or who you choose to make as a life mate. That is meaningless and something most people cannot change. I'm talking about diversity of thinking. So cybersecurity is male dominant. I mean, just dudes everywhere. And there's men and women think differently. And we absolutely need people who think differently. So my diversity message has nothing to do with things that people can't change, but it has everything to do with people bringing different ways of thinking about how to solve the unbelievable and growing problems we face. So now more than ever is the time for true, honest leadership in cybersecurity. And I'm so grateful and thankful that we have leaders like Jim Craig, like Will McCullen, like Chris Bonhorst, and we have enablement people like Chancellor Lee Lambert that help us to do this unbelievably important work that truly, truly affects everyone. So I think we also have one of the students that's involved in the program, and I am very happy to say, please pay attention to what he has to say.
And
Thank
Ian,
you,
we
Brett.
have about 4 minutes left, so go ahead.
Thank you, Brett. Yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ivan Castro, one of our current IT cyber students. Right, Ivan?
Thank you, Brett. You keep scaring me. The more I hear words come out of your mouth, the more I get scared of what's out there. To give some little background on me, I returned to school in 2018. I knew how to use Google, and that was pretty much it. After a semester of taking just a couple of IT classes and running into the cyber warfare range, where I met Brett bringing in big servers that I didn't know what they were, but I was bringing them in, setting them up. Little by little, I started seeing what was inside. They're exactly the same as desktops. So I was learning what was going on inside these machines. The semester after that, I'm taking a hardware class where some of even the new Cengage stuff, they were showing older connectors that are outdated. So I was getting more current information from the donated servers at the warfare range than I was getting from Cengage, from the brand new textbooks. And so forward that to another semester right before March 2020, when the pandemic happened. I'm comfortable with what's inside the computers. I'm approached by my supervisor if I know how to use Google Workspace. This will give you a good idea of what return on your investment, you know. I said, yes, I know how to use Google Workspace. I started reading Google documentation, and I was put in charge of showing other people how to use Google Workspace. And I did workshops, I think, every other week. And because I was a part of the cybersecurity in the cyber warfare range, all of my workshops, I would, you know, bring something about cybersecurity into the conversation. And it's amazing how little we know about the tools that we use on a daily basis. So just getting to talking to the other faculty and students, you know, sharing links. What was it educational to know, you know, what links do, how they can take control of your machine. You know, new QR codes are just like links. I would tell, you know, the participants, watch out for the new QR codes that are coming out on your TV. Those can all be hacked and redirect you to steal your identity. What else? I was able to put together my own computer. Right before the pandemic, I used my entire stimulus check to build my computer. And then I was able to turn around and teach other people how to use all these things. So the investment in the cyber warfare range allowed me to turn around and share my newfound knowledge with numerous people immediately after, you know, a few weeks or semesters of learning new things. So the more we can invest and let other people get their hands on the machines, take them apart, break them when it doesn't hurt their own pockets. That's how we learn. Unfortunately, we're going to have to break some of the servers in the center of excellence, but we'll be able to fix them ourselves, which is a good thing, and protect them and then hack them. All that stuff, when we can do it with our own hands and have people like Brett, Will, and Chris being there over our shoulders and watching us crawl up and learn how to do these things so they can say, okay, you feel comfortable? Now look at this. This is what's actually happening. So apply what we're doing here to this new attack that's going on right now. And that can change the world from just Pima, like you guys were saying, you know, one student at a time goes out and shares what they know. Oh, and really quick, I wanted to thank Becky. I didn't see Becky when my first semester back. She gave me a tour. It was an assignment. She gave me a tour of the library, and it was very nice of her. And I just want to say congratulations to her.
Well, I would like to quickly wrap up with that. This is a person who was not in the industry, who came to the industry and now has a much better competency than most of the people that I see every day applying to do work with me at TD SYNNEX. And one of the things that we have just launched is a thing that we call Passage Program, where we take people that come from our educational partners and the cyber warfare ranges that we operate, and we inject them directly into the marketplace globally. So tens of millions of businesses are within the ecosystem of TD SYNNEX globally. We take those competent cyber warriors that are being produced there at Pima Community College, and we inject them into jobs in cybersecurity directly, which has a transformative effect on the lives of your students. And it also helps us with our cybersecurity posture as well. So thank you so much for all that our folks have been doing. Thank you very much for the courage of Mr. Chancellor Lee Lambert. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the vision and innovation that comes from Jim Craig.
Well, thank you very much, Brent, and thank you, Ivan. We really appreciate all of the work and partnership that you're doing, and Ivan, that you've enrolled into the program, and you're such a wonderful example of the type of students that Pima is producing. So we're really appreciative. I think we'll continue to have these small updates highlighting some of the impact of the mission. So thank you guys so much. Next, we have our administration reports. The first report is the initiative to increase spring enrollment with Dr. David Dore and Philip Burdick. Chancellor Lambert, do you want to introduce this, or are we going to go straight in?
No, I just want to say, kudos to Brett and to Ivan for being on just a moment ago. So I'm so pleased that I have Dr. David Dore and Phil Burdick going to talk about the exciting things we're doing around spring enrollment. So I'll turn it over to you, David.
Okay, and you guys have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. So good evening, Chair Klinko, members of the governing board, Chancellor Lambert, colleagues, guests, and students. This evening, Phil Burdick, our Vice Chancellor for External Relations, and I will provide a brief overview of the current status of enrollment at the college and an update on the spring enrollment campaign. And before I begin, I'd like to publicly commend all of our employees across the college who have continued to work collaboratively and diligently to find ways to lessen the impact of the pandemic on our students. While the college has significant work left to do, I do want to acknowledge that student retention and enrollment has truly been a college-wide effort, with many areas working on multiple large-scale initiatives simultaneously. So to begin, I'd like to provide an overview of current enrollment at the college. The National Student Clearinghouse recently released its report on fall 2021 enrollment, and as could be expected, enrollment at public two-year institutions across the country continued to decline this fall, with total community college enrollment down 14.1% since fall 2019, and Arizona Community College is down 15% from pre-pandemic levels. Now, the good news is that there was less of a decline this year than the previous. While community college enrollment is down 5.6% nationally since last year, Pima's fall 21 enrollment is down about 3.72% as of November 3rd. I also want to point out to the board that we still don't have all of our enrollment numbers. A lot of our enrollment numbers are not yet in, so that number probably will improve throughout the year. Now, registration for spring 2022 just opened this past Monday, so it's too early to get a clear picture of what spring will look like. We had approximately 2,000 students who registered on Monday, and that's an increase over the last two spring terms for first day registration. and Provost Duran Serta will be presenting on spring enrollment at February's governing board meeting. Now I'd like to share an overview of some of the initiatives the college is implementing for spring enrollment, persistence, and retention. Now, our programs and services must be designed to serve what we are now calling the new majority learner, or who we traditionally refer to as non-traditional students. Now, these are students of color, part-time students, working students, parent students, first-generation students, students over 25, and so forth. Now, Student Affairs continues to collaboratively lead and implement the short-term strategic enrollment management plan. And to date, the college has re-enrolled 750 students who had their debt forgiven. And just to give you an idea, we have now distributed HER funds directly to over 10,000 students, totaling about $7.2 million that we put directly into the hands of our students. Additionally, all of the centers of excellence are continuing to develop programs and partnerships and are proceeding on schedule. And the COEs are also partnering with community organizations to provide much needed community services. Just examples are, our dental program is providing dental services to youth in need. And our hospitality program is doing events for at-risk youth. We're also expanding our on-ramps to enrollment, such as our new military training and service articulation guide for prior learning assessment, fast track initiative, which Phil will talk about, and expansion of our IVEST programs. Additionally, the dual enrollment program recently began overseeing high school recruitment, including for non-dual enrolled students. And dual enrollment headcount has already surpassed last year's, and dual enrollment is also bringing on 5 new schools this spring and planning for mass application for high school seniors in the spring. Next, the student support services that have been so helpful to our students throughout the pandemic, those are continuing, including the free student success classes, early alert and progress surveys, and mobile device checkout that Jeff Fees and his team will continue to lead in the spring. Additionally, we know that 1 in 5 college students today is a parent, and yet they have remained a largely invisible population. And so in partnership with Pima County, United Way, and Child Parent Centers, we received a federal child care access grant that will provide $285,000 per year over 4 years to support child care at Desert Vista campus, provide stipends to students at all campuses to support child care costs, provide wraparound services for our parent students, and then recruit new students who may have forgone college because of child care needs. It has become increasingly clear to us that we need to continue to leverage partnerships that provide both social services and direct financial support to our students. And so, for example, we're continuing to work with the Bank of America, and we will convene an education and workforce roundtable later this fall with community-based organizations that support and serve our learners and potential learners. And then we're establishing long-term engagement with these community-based organizations. We're also establishing positions to support enrollment and registration for students referred by these organizations. Now, often these partnerships result in funding provided directly to students to assist with the cost of education. For example, both the Metallica Scholars and the Ford Asset Program will provide full academic funding for our students in the CTE fields and in the automotive program, respectively. Our college police have been active in community outreach to help promote enrollment through attending a number of events throughout the county and are now getting ready to launch their children's toy drive. Now, in terms of next steps, I'm providing an overview of next steps. David Ariano and the Strategic Enrollment Management Team will continue to lead, assess, and adjust the short-term plan and are working on the long-term 2022-2026 Strategic Enrollment Management Plan. The Breaking Student Barriers Task Force is also continuing its work and is now examining retention and success issues related to curriculum and academics. And finally, through both student affairs and marketing, we are continuing the spring enrollment campaign. Now I'm going to pass it on to Phil to talk about our outreach efforts, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Thank you, Dr. DeRay, and appreciate all the work that you and your team have been doing to support marketing as we start our spring enrollment marketing campaign. Even though spring enrollment opened on the 8th, we've already been hard at work making sure that students, current students and students who are no longer with us are aware that spring registration is now opening. So we've already did our first text campaign to about 13,000 students. We'll do that 3 more times before the spring semester starts. We are geofencing homes, and for those of you who don't know what geofencing is, it's beaming messages like the one that you see on the right into a home where a person is using their smartphone or computer or laptop, or they're streaming on TV. We're actually beaming messages to enroll this spring right onto their devices. We're also emailing 40,000 stop-outs. We'll do that twice before the spring semester starts. Those are students who have been at Pima before in the last 3 years, but for one reason or another have discontinued going to the college. So we'll make sure that we contact them and see what we can do to try to convince them to continue their journey with us. Andrew, you can go to the next slide. You'll see these colorful banners around the campus, probably beginning tomorrow. They're at all entrances as well as the outside, reminding students to register for spring classes now, and that registration is open. Andrew, go ahead and go to the next slide. In addition to the text, geofencing, and signage, we're also doing a general enrollment campaign. As you can see, these are the demographic groups that we're targeting with both radio, geofencing, actually our own campuses, so that when a student is on their smartphone here on any of the campuses, they'll see a message that you're seeing on the right. We have general website banner ads, paid search, social media ads, and again, Spanish radio and streaming audio. Go to the next slide. We'll also continue our Pima Fast Track marketing. These are our applied technology and career programs that take only 3 months to get a credential and start working in the careers, in these particular careers. We've had really, we've only been marketing this for about a month. We've already had 600 plus inquiries. And as you can see, we've had tremendous success appealing to the kind of student that would not be a traditional either college student or community college student. You can go to the next slide. So in these 600 inquiries, over half are currently unemployed or underemployed. And this is really the target audience that we were looking at, especially with the pandemic. These are people who we call maybe disgruntled workers, workers who are dissatisfied with their current jobs, low wage jobs, jobs that are not paying a family sustaining wages, and getting them on track for a real career and a good paying family sustaining jobs in the areas that you saw previously. We've distributed over $100,000 of financial assistance thanks to our partners. And we're happy to report that all sections are running except for advanced advanced industrial technology. That should be running at the beginning of next year. Go to the next slide. Yeah, that's the end of the slideshow. So we're really excited about how we can, different ways that we're reaching out to students, both our own students and students outside the Pima Community College campuses. We're looking forward to a good spring enrollment campaign, which hopefully will set us up for a successful fall enrollment campaign next year. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Dr. Dore and Mr. Burdick, thank you so much. Are there questions from the board? Yes, Ms. Garcia. Yeah, your microphone is muted.
Hi, Phil. I have a question. How are you geofencing homes?
So we actually contract out with one of our consultants. And this is a very typical marketing technique where you can now stream ads according to addresses, so that when you're sitting at your home, if you're wondering why you're seeing a particular ad on your smartphone or on your Google search or on your streaming device, it's because you've did a search with that particular search term, or we've also given the addresses to our partners with that ad and say, beam it into their home. If they click on their device, if they click on Google or Yahoo or Bing, from a personal privacy point of view, it's rather frightening, and I'm not in favor of it. As a marketing person, I love it, because what it does is we're able to do metrics. If they click onto that ad, I can tell you how long they were on that ad, what they searched next, how long they were engaged with us. And so as far as doing some database decision-making on marketing, it's a godsend for marketers. As a personal privacy person, maybe you don't like it so much.
All right. Well, then my next question is for Dr. Dore. Dr. Dore, I have how on your plan for enrollment, to increase enrollment, how will you know that the enrollment plan is effective, and how will you measure, evaluate your effectiveness in meeting the needs of our school, of our schools, our students in our community?
Yes, and thank you, Board Member Garcia. That's an excellent question. And so, we're looking at a lot of things to measure, but I just had actually I have to throw this by the board to see what you think. I just had a discussion with Dr. Duran Cerda today. I had a discussion with David Ariano and Edgar Soto at our Desert Vista campus. What we'd like to do in terms of really measuring, effectiveness is, one is we really need to go right to our students, right? And so what we're thinking of doing is, in the short term, doing some focus groups specifically, and be working with United Way and with David Ariano and James Palacios to identify some students at each of our respective high schools, and to ask them, what are their pain points in, or what are the things that they need to enroll, and what are the things that they're looking for. And so what we would like to do is to do these focus groups prior to registration for the fall semester for these high school students. Now, in the long term, what I'd like to do, and I spoke with Dolores about this, is to have an advisory committee that is really made up of these students from, again, this is just one group, right? From we're looking at that pipeline from K-12, and to have students and parents and counselors that are on these advisory committees that would advise, the provost and myself on how we can better help with that transition. So that's just one thought that I had, and I'd be more than happy to get any feedback from the board on additional ways that we can better serve, our local high school students.
Oh, thank you so much. Then I noticed that you didn't have the footsie on your enrollment. Do you happen to know what that is?
Yes. So thank you, Board Member Garcia. I'd be more than happy to give you. So again, this is unofficial as of November 9th. Our footsie. And again, this does not, remember, right now we're not counting that the year term workforce programs. We have not folded in the dual enrollment yet. We haven't folded in any of the ABE or any of that stuff. But our fall 21 footsie is 4,326 as of November 9th. Now, if we look at fall 2020, our footsie was 4,593. So if we're looking at as a snapshot today of FTSE, that's a decrease of about 5.8%.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, this time I was muted. Miss Ripley.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. Thanks for those presentations. Yeah, I just wanted to give kudos. And thank you for addressing arguably one of our most important issues, which is enrollment. And one of the things I just wanted to address is, and thank you for, is the childcare that will be provided at the Desert Vista. Is Desert Vista correct? And from my understanding, just for everybody's edification, is that this is the first. I think talking to the chancellor, the goal is to have one at every campus at some point, because this is one big cycle as far as enrollment, faculty, staff taking care of our own people, as well as getting students who might not otherwise be able to go to school because of daycare. So it's this one big cycle. So it's seemingly a small thing, but it's actually very huge. So thank you so much for addressing daycare. Just wanted to shout that out. Thanks.
And Board Member Ripley, also for everyone to know, the grant that we received, even if the campus doesn't have childcare, it does support the stipend to pay for childcare for student at any campus. So I just want to make that clear.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Can you hear me?
We can, yeah, and then we'll go to Ms. Garcia.
Okay.
Oh, you're okay. Okay,
I just wanted to make a comment. I like the presentation that was done. It's excellent. I like some of the words that were used, and Ms. Ripley mentioned it's a cycle. I think the component that lacks right now, and I've been professing since day one, even before I got elected, is for us as board members to really be out there in the community. It was mentioned before, over and over, the community. I think it's time for us to really be in the community at the different campuses, to hold our meetings, meet with the people, meet with the parents, and more important, meet with the students. And I think that should be one of the a good initiative to look forward to in starting in January. Because I've been saying this before I even got elected. The other thing that I wanted to say is that the people, the community, especially the parents, I think that's one of the areas, because we're looking at not only the young adults, but also looking at the K-12 system in reference to what can we do better or more with the people that we have. They were mentioned, like Mr. Palacios, Senora Duran, Arellano, and Soto at Desert Vista. I think it's another word that came up was a collaboration. I think it has to be a full collaboration, a full initiative in reference to really doing what we need to do as well too. But I like the presentations, but I'm coming back to what I have said before, and will continue to say, the board should have meetings in the community, meeting with the people, meeting with the parents, because I think it makes an impact. Let's provide the full support, and I think that's one of the things that I really would like to put on the agenda. But I think it should be it's doable and feasible, and I think we should do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So just to recap, Mr. Gonzalez, I think you're absolutely right. You know, at our board retreat, we talked about the board becoming more actively engaged in outreach. And Chancellor Lambert, you know, I think we can, you know, if you can reach out through your office to begin, you know, finding ways to sort of schedule, whether we call them summits or community forums, where board members can invite the broader community to attend and provide, you know, sort of an update on what we're doing and create those. I mean, the very thing that we talked about in our retreat. So I think if we can sort of get started on that, that would be really tremendous. And I think January is a good start date. And Mr. Gonzalez, I hear you volunteer just now to be the first one to do it. So, I'm hoping that you'll reach out to Chancellor Lambert as well and begin to coordinate how you sort of envision that type of outreach to reach your community more effectively. So that's number one. Number two, I also heard Dr. Doré, you mention this advisory committee. And I wonder, as we talked about, I think we all agree that enrollment is probably the biggest issue facing the institution today. And, we have two standing board committees, one on finance and our audit, and the other on human resources. And maybe we need to look at standing up a board committee and specifically on enrollment. That it means is where we could invite, similar to those where we would invite experts from throughout the community to help advise and guide that, but we would also have at least two members of this board on that committee. If we do that, it means more commitment from the members of this very small board. So I want to be cognizant of your time, but I see David Doré, putting thumbs up on something like that, but I sort of want to poll my fellow board members, and if there were two people who would want to serve on an initiative if we were to do something like this, and then we need to talk with Chancellor Lambert about what that would take. And is there the staff resources to be able to sort of staff something like that and create, a whole nother administrative board committee? So I don't want to just flippantly say, let's do that tonight, but I do want to do this thoughtfully. And I think it's time based on, every discussion we have now is just enrollment. And I think that to put the focus on it so that the key board members can really be focused on it and report back. So not every single meeting, every single time is consumed too by this one topic. So, and I saw Ms. Garcia, you raise your hand. You were interested in serving in a role like that. Is there anybody else? And I see Kat Ripley and Mr. Gonzalez. So Chancellor Lambert, maybe we could have a little meeting and then we could come back with a plan on something like that, if you think that's viable. Or
so Mr. Chair, this is already in the works. We have Phil and David have been working to do exactly what you just talked about. We're also going to be making some other adjustments that I think will help with that transition to occur. It will mean ending one practice of doing some things in order to move in a new direction, which we think are going to be more beneficial. So it's in the works. Now it's just a question of us getting that time. I think as you go through your bylaws and your board policies, building in this piece into that structure would also be beneficial.
Well, I think the timing works well for that because we hope to have that completed by the end of the year.
Yes.
So we would sort of start the new year with a new committee. As that, I sort of see nods. Everybody feels comfortable with that sort of approach, and actually, because I think doing a board committee puts it at the highest level of the institution.
Yes.
Right? There's can't get any higher than us. So it really, I think, forces the focus on, I think, what we all know needs to be addressed. So, okay. So we have somewhat of a game plan, and we'll flesh it out as we're moving through maybe some of those study sessions around the bylaws and those discussions with the intent of having something at the early part of the year. That's agreeable to everybody? And Mr. Gonzalez, you're going to reach out to Chancellor Lambert's office to begin scheduling a community summit. Okay, terrific. I feel like we really just achieved something in that particular agenda item. Okay, so thank you very much for for the reports. That was really great. Next, we have our reports by representatives to the board. Our first is our student report by Colin Bryant. And you have 5 minutes.
First off, if I can thank the board for the quick responses.
Mr. Bryant, I'm afraid the connection that you have is pretty choppy, and we're not able to hear you very clearly. Mr. Bryant, I think we'll come back to you at the end and see if you maybe sign off and sign on. It might be a little clearer, if that's okay. Our next is our adjunct faculty report, Wisham Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza.
Good to see everyone. Chairman Klinko, Chancellor Lambert, members of the board, and honored guests.
I'm happy to report that I've been elected as the adjunct faculty chair by my fellow adjunct faculty senators. Thank you to Tal Sutton for managing our elections. This means I'll be representing my fellow adjunct faculty to the board for yet another 2 years. Yay. Also, another thing too is the initiatives we hope to implement during my new term include the creation of a tiered adjunct faculty system, the continued development of processes, and create greater transparency of assigned courses, and the ability of professional development monies for adjunct faculty. I'm happy to report that the administration, specifically David B. and Kate Schmidt, have begun discussions and preliminary work on these very important initiatives. We'd like to thank them and the Provost Office for the support, and I look forward to sharing this information with you in the months to come. Lastly, I want to remind everyone of the role the impact adjunct faculty have on our institution. Many educators, like myself, begin their careers at the college as adjunct faculty, working, learning, and eventually earning full-time faculty positions or becoming a provost or a board member. Even when we retire, many of us come back to the institution, earning well-deserved accolades like faculty emeritus. Congratulations, by the way, to my faculty peers. Tonight, I would like to honor fellow computer science adjunct faculty member Manny DeRaza, who passed earlier this week of a brain aneurysm. I had known Manny for nearly 30 years, and I count him to be one of my closest friends. Not only did he have a gift for problem solving in computers, but he was also a published science fiction writer, father, and lover of food. Besides computers and families, that's something we both had in common: food. A humble man with big dreams, but always looking to help and serve others. I'm sure he'd be taken aback by all this attention. I believe that if he were here, he would want us to honor not just him, but all adjunct faculty who are no longer with us. With that in mind, I'd like to take a moment of my time to honor my friend, Manny DeRaza, and all adjunct faculty who have passed. And a moment of silence. Thank you, members of the board, and your continued support of the adjunct faculty. Rest in peace, Manny, my brother. This ends my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mendoza. Congratulations on your 2-year reappointment, and thank you for your thoughts on Manny DeRaza. Next is our faculty report with Denise Riley.
Hello, good evening. Chairperson Klinko, Chancellor Lambert, members of the board, colleagues, and guests. As we head into the holiday season, these months remind us to be thankful and grateful. On behalf of Faculty Senate, I'd like to thank all of you board members, as your hard work and dedication and commitment to supporting the mission of community college is not unnoticed, and we are grateful for you. So thank you. I'd like to start by recognizing faculty members. That seems to be a theme of the evening, recognition. So I'd like to recognize faculty members that go above and beyond through club advising. Clubs of student interest are an important co-curricular experience that keeps students engaged, whether through social interaction, career experiences, leadership opportunities, or volunteer and community engagement. Students and faculty have remained engaged even through the virtual format in the last year and a half. A few notable clubs mentioned in my report led by faculty, which I have too many names to mention this evening, but the Archaeology Club, Pima Cares Club, a brand new club called the Advanced Manufacturing Club, created during the pandemic, Pima Honors Club, and Phi Theta Kappa Club. And I was just thinking, as the sentiment tonight was that board members wanted to be more active in the community and attending and meeting with students, and how precious that time is and those interactions are, that I'd like to invite any board member to attend any of the PTK and Honors Club meetings that we have continually on Fridays. And I'm sure my fellow colleagues and faculty members would enjoy any pop-in or visit to a club meeting would be helpful. So thank you so much for wanting to engage with our students, wanting to engage with our students and what is going on and what kind of extracurricular or things that can be done to help the students succeed. And as we know, some of these clubs, it is what drives students to persist and retain them at the school. So a few highlights I'd like to share from our Faculty Senate meeting and administration meeting. From our Faculty Senate meeting, we received a presentation on the Cradle to Career program, which is part of the United Way. And that was a partnership with PCC that we heard extensively about. We received numerous updates regarding committees at the college. So we have the General Education, the College Curriculum Council, and of course we had numerous updates on the Class and Comp Study. Steering committee representatives definitely discussed in depth the fact that Faculty Senate was assured, we discussed in depth the fact that Faculty Senate didn't feel like faculty had a strong role in shared governance at the time. And so now we were assured by executive administration, namely Dr. David B., that communications will be improved in the future and that further conversations will take place regarding the Class and Comp Study, as that is a hot topic, we can say, regarding faculty pay, retention, enrollment efforts, and shared governance just continues to be another topic for us there. Only other comment to make other than inviting everyone to attend and please come to the college, come to the different campuses, as Kat mentioned earlier, even talking to the students, talking to the ones that belong to different clubs and co-curricular activities, what's going on, what they enjoy. And so I would just like to invite you all, and also to come to our Faculty Senate meetings. We have them once a month, so our next one is in December, and we have the website updated with all the information about dates forthcoming in the spring, as well as members of Faculty Senate. So we'd like to just invite you to come to those events, and that could be scheduled in advance. I'd like to end with just the same comment that I've been reading, as this is shared by my constituents and faculty, and this is just our statement that we'd like to make. So faculty senators are approached more frequently by our colleagues and constituents regarding employee pay at the college. We understand that finances are especially volatile given the depressed levels of enrollment college-wide and the ongoing pandemic. But faculty senators are concerned with the current allocation of funds. The Faculty Senate is interested in hearing from faculty colleagues on the Class and Comp Faculty Steering Committee, having Faculty Senate officers collaborate during their administrative meetings with members of the ELT, and exploring how faculty, staff, and administration can work together on how to allocate funds in ways that will optimize academic excellence and student success. And with that, I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Next, we have our administrator report with Jeff Thieves. Jeff, you have 5 minutes.
Happy World Science Day for Peace and Development. Chairperson Klinko, board members, Chancellor Lambert, students, colleagues, and guests. My name is Jeff Thieves, and I'm here to provide the administrative rep board report. Pima Online Educators Conference was held in early October and was a huge success. The theme of the conference was Every Interaction Counts, expanding innovation and inclusion in online learning. Over 250 participants, including faculty and staff, attended the 3-day virtual conference that offered keynote speakers and an assortment of workshops and presentations. Pima is the first community college to use D12 Brightspace to host a professional development conference of this kind. Almost 30 programs can now be completed fully online. The latest additions include the Translation and Interpretation Studies Certificate and the Translation and Interpretation Studies Concentration AA degree. This number will continue to increase as we move forward. ITC Awards for Excellence in E-Learning. The following have been recognized by Pima Community College for receiving nominations for awards for excellence in e-learning offered by the Instructional Technology Council. Outstanding e-learning student, Webster Rose. Kim Lisa Ducicella, Outstanding E-Learning Faculty. The course, Culinary 130, Outstanding E-Course. And Pima Online Educators Conference, and Reed Dixon for the Outstanding E-Learning Support for Faculty and Students. As you may or may not be aware, the online enrollment in fall 2021 accounts for almost 42% of our courses, with close to 19% being virtual. So nearly 60% of our courses have some online component, either asynchronous or synchronous. And thanks to a 2-week period in fall 2021, Pima Online department heads were able to respond to enrollment needs, adding 47 sections of online courses that resulted in nearly 1,000 enrollments. Moving on, Academic Digital Literacy Cross-Functional Task Force completed their work. It was created as a larger plan to evaluate and recommend digital literacy outcomes, implementation plans, and assessment. The team of 17 Pima Community College employees met regularly from last March up until this past month. Team meetings were broken into 2 components. There was a part that was information sharing and research, and the other part was breakout work groups to move forward our recommendations. The recommendations on academic digital literacy is defined as the identification, understanding, and use of digital technology. ADL, Academic Digital Literacy, focuses this definition on post-secondary learning. The primary learning outcome is to locate, evaluate, apply, and create information from with diverse digital resources in an effective and ethical manner. This new learning outcome is not considered an additional general education learning outcome, but instead is embedded within the current list of JELOs and should be considered part of each JELO's assessment process. Kudos to the team that worked on that. And lastly, the PCC U of A STEM partnership. This has been going on for about 1.5 years now. The efforts of the cross-institutional team of STEM student supporters was on display last Thursday at the Association of American Colleges and Universities virtual Transforming STEM Higher Ed Conference. The presentation, Developing an Inclusive Culturally Responsive Mentoring Context for STEM Community College Students Transitioning from a 2-year to 4-year HSI, that's a mouthful, was led by PCC's Dean of Science, Emily Halverson-Otts. The project's goal is to implement and test a transferable model for creating a bridged, culturally responsive community of practice between 2- and 4-year Hispanic serving institutions to raise persistence and graduation rates for low-income, academically talented community college students pursuing STEM majors at the 4-year institution. And lastly, there is some great information in the report for those of you that haven't had a chance to go and download it. Please do so, on equity and the reasons why we disaggregate data when we're investigating our successes. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thies. Next, we have our staff report. Michael Lopez has stepped down from the role. So now a new staff representative has been elected, Dorothy Netherland. Dorothy, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and giving us a brief report. We have about 4 minutes.
Good evening, Chairperson Klinko, Chancellor Lambert, members of the board, students, colleagues, and guests. Yes, it was a last-minute decision. Michael decided to step down. Unfortunately, that did not give me any time to prepare a report for you, so I apologize. I do look forward to providing feedback from staff council to you, and I appreciate the honor that this is to be involved and speaking for my fellow staff.
Well, welcome to the board meetings. We really look forward to hearing from you and getting to know you. And please express our gratitude to Mr. Lopez for his insight and his monthly reports. They've really provided insight into the activities and concerns of the staff classification. We're going to circle back around and see if Colin Bryant, our student representative, has a better connection. Mr. Bryant.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can. You have 4 minutes. Go ahead.
All right. Well, good evening, Chair Klinko, Chancellor Lambert, governing board members, faculty, fellow students, and guests. First off, the Student Senate would like to thank the board for their quick response to the concerns we brought up last month. It seems that there is good action being taken on both the lighting and Wi-Fi connection issues, and speaking on behalf of many students, we really appreciate that. Now, I'd like to get some exposure on the Arizona Public Research Group's COVID-19 information campaign going on here at Pima and the U of A. Arizona PIRG is looking for testimonials from people who have already received their vaccine. These testimonials will be shared on AZPIRG's social media platforms to urge people to consider getting vaccinated. Basically, they're looking to raise awareness and dispel misconceptions about the vaccines in order to get higher vaccination rates among younger people here in Arizona, which are among the lowest of all demographics. The Student Senate met with a representative from PIRG and felt that this is something simple that can do a lot of good here locally in Tucson. More information about AZPIRG and their COVID-19 information campaign can be found on their website, www.arizonapirg.org. Moving on, there are some small maintenance issues reported to the Senate, such as bathroom stalls at East Campus that don't lock, as well as ADA buttons that don't work. We'd like to recommend for these maintenance issues to be checked up on. Speaking of bathrooms, the Student Senate has decided to look into the status of gender-neutral bathrooms on each campus. We've realized that there's not a lot, and we'd really like to know what is being done to create more, because some students express that they feel uncomfortable using restrooms that aren't gender inclusive. Others have said that they don't use the restrooms on campus at all. Now, aligning ourselves with Pima's goals of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we think that this should be a priority. We understand that this is an issue that must be approached thoughtfully and delicately, but also must be taken care of within a reasonable time frame. Thank you all. That is all I have to report.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Chancellor Lambert, will you let us know, we get a report on, and I believe we have some gender neutral bathrooms, but perhaps we could get a small report at an upcoming meeting in January about where we are on that, and if there's anything else we can do to increase that.
Actually, I was going to share some data with all of you here shortly.
Well, terrific. So let's
what we have.
Okay, well, let's move right into your report.
Okay, I'll start right there to begin with. Well, good evening, everybody. So we've had Dr. David Doré and the facilities team under the leadership of Dr. David B. to really look at, so what's the lay of the land currently with our gender neutral bathrooms. So East Campus, we have 2, Northwest Campus, we have 5, downtown campus, we have 3. And then I think the note says there are 6 single spot restrooms around the campus as well. This is downtown. And then Desert Vista, there are 4. And then West Campus, we have 15. So that's kind of the state of where we are presently. When you look at our new buildings, you'll see those being integrated into the new facilities as those come online as well. Question is, how many is the right number? And I think that's going to take a little time to understand that a little better vis-a-vis the resources we have to work with and our overall priorities as a college. I want you to know that we do have them. Now the question is, what's the right number? And we'll continue to do that analysis. Also, just to follow up from last meeting around security, I believe Dr. Doré and the student senators met to talk about the lighting. They did a walkthrough with the senators, and I believe short-term lighting issues have been addressed by replacing lights and adding additional lighting in areas of concern. And so I'm very pleased that David has followed up and made sure that we're addressing the concerns of the students. Also, I want to go on and talk about some of the things we've done over the past month. So there's a small group of us who participate in the Bank of America partnership that we have that also involves NCII and a number of other colleges and universities. This is some of the best professional development anyone could go through. This last presentation was about probably the number one issue is the financial stability of our students. And they broke it into three buckets, covering their cost, addressing their basic needs, and making sure that we support them in informed choices. And so Pima was one of the colleges that were featured as part of that discussion. So I'm very pleased to say to all of you, we are ahead of the curve, if you will, in addressing financial stability. I mean, this is a challenge overall, and just being mindful that Pima is doing that, but we still have a lot to do as we go forward. But relevancy of programs, the advising, those things are very important parts of the overall financial stability of our students. One Want to say shout out to our veterans. Yeah, Veterans Day tomorrow, and please enjoy Veterans Day. And I want to just say to all of the veterans who received the Quilts of Valor today, congratulations. Sorry I was not able to join you all today. And I believe Board Member Ripley, you were among the honorees today as well. So congratulations to you. Had a conversation with the board chair of Santa Cruz. Things are going very well. They had a retreat over the weekend. Libby participated, Ian participated along with Ted. And I think the relationship is on the right track and is going very well. Also thought I'd share just something bigger picture for a moment. So there's this book that's out called The Great Upheaval, and it's talking about higher education specifically. And there's like 5 major points in there. And you really see that Pima is addressing all of those pieces. So they talk about how content producers and distributors are entering our market from outside of traditional higher ed. And in some cases, we have partnered with some of those folks. You're seeing a shift from the locus of control from the institution to the student. That shift is going to continue to occur, and that's something we need to ever be vigilant and mindful about. Digital devices are going to be ever important to the learning landscape, and you heard mention of that earlier this evening, and it's going to grow in importance, and I'll come back to that point here shortly. And there's a shift underway from being a process-oriented institutions to outcomes-focused institutions. That shift is going to continue to grow in importance, not less so. We need to not lose sight of outcomes are so critical. And then this balance between non-degree and degree. Students are seeking less degrees with more focus on the non-degree side of things is also growing in importance. And that's why the Pima Fast Tracks and a lot of the other things we're doing are important. I'm so pleased that we've been in conversations with Councilmember Kasachik's office about how we might support the refugees who are coming to our area from Afghanistan. He shared with me that presently we have 100, and he expects that number is going to grow to about 600. So we're partnering with them. So David has been working with the council member's office on a program called Ready, Set, Rec events. And so they'll be doing some of those events at I believe our downtown campus. Going back to this digital piece for a moment. Dolores and I, Provost and I sat in on the Apple Spotlight, and we're part of that Apple series. And we listened in on Maryville University and Penn State Allegheny. They have taken, remember we had that conversation around the Apple piece before the pandemic hit. They have taken all of that and they fully integrated into their colleges. Maryville is seeing shifts in enrollment and retention and outcomes as a result of that. And they shared their successes. Students are really embracing this. The other thing we're seeing from, and there was a couple articles that just came out, you want to improve your arts and humanities programs, you bring in the digital pieces into those programs. And I think that probably pairs well with what we heard Maryville doing. So a small group of us are going to go visit to learn more of how they've done that total integration as well. I just want to do a shout out to ABEC. And you heard from the program earlier, I had an opportunity, Tom Davis and I, to go tour all the programs recently, hear from our students. Our students are so grateful of what's going on at the college. And you heard some of that earlier today. And I want us not to lose sight of that, how grateful our students are. And they're really just so engaged, and they look to us for that hope and opportunity, and we're delivering. And so Lori and her team are just doing an outstanding job. And they're also proving that you don't need a high school diploma to sometimes acquire these critical skills for future success. I've been asked to participate on the Banner Advisory Council, so you're going to see me. So now we're highly engaged with all of the hospitals in our community at this stage. Also, we were so pleased that Secretary of Education Cardona visited us. But on that same day, we had the Rev It Up event. So I want to thank Marcy and the Foundation Board. That was a very successful event. And I was glad to see that some of our deans, some of our other staff were leading the tours that happened that day. People who go into that facility are just blown away by what Pima is doing. So we should all be very proud of how we've been elevating the college. Also want to, again, just say congratulations to you, Damien, and to Maze for being Pacific Region recipients. And since I've been here now 9 years, we've had 4 Pacific Region awards and 1 national award. That doesn't happen by accident. That requires that you're doing more good things than not. And I think sometimes when we come to the board meeting, we only hear the things that we're not doing. We're doing a whole heck of a lot. So thank you, Board Member Ripley, for highlighting those positive things that are going on at the college. I also want to thank Brett for your comments and your partnership. We really appreciate that tremendously. Also, I just want to say, when I'm out there talking with employees, whether they're faculty, staff, administrators, we have a lot of folks who are very grateful for how we have led this college over the last 20 plus months. I've had people say to me, thank you for not laying any full-time folks off. Thank you for keeping us employed. Thank you for keeping us safe. I think that sometimes gets lost when you come to the board meeting. You don't hear that because of the great decisions we made pre-pandemic, we were able to make that kind of commitment to our employees. And a lot of places weren't able to do that same thing, especially when they first went into the pandemic. So we have a lot to be proud of, that we are making a positive difference. And many of our employees are grateful for the working conditions and the environment that we have at the college. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all this good stuff happening with our students. And so let's not lose sight of those important pieces as well. So again, just thank you, everybody. Please, I know this is our last official regular board meeting of the year, so happy holidays coming up. Please enjoy Veterans Day tomorrow. And again, thank you to all the veterans and all the active duty members and their dependents for what they do to keep our country safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chancellor Lambert. The next item on our agenda is our information items. They are posted. The next item is our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I move to adopt the consent agenda.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor of adopting the consent agenda as published, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
I believe Ms. Garcia had a question.
Oh, Ms. Garcia?
What's on the consent agenda? I don't see it.
There are about 18 different items on the consent agenda that were, of course, published on the website. And
I know I'm trying to find it.
It's on the board docs. There is the minutes of the October 6, 2021 meeting, the minutes of the October 6, 2021 regular meeting, the board policy minor updates, the new program clinical research professional certificate, the program inactivation special ed for certified teachers, the intergovernmental agreement with the NSF-STEM 3-year, the intergovernmental agreement with the IGA with Tucson Unified School District for Educational Talent Search Program, the intergovernmental agreement, the IGA for the joint formation of Operation Specialized Law Enforcement Teams among public agencies in Pima County, dual enrollment, intergovernmental agreement, IGA, agreements with the following: Flowing Wells, USD, Patagonia Union, and Sunnyside USD Plus, amending IGA language to include freshmen and sophomore students who are now eligible for dual enrollment. Item 4.10 is the grant proposal, child care access means parents in schools programs, also known as CCAMPIS. There's the grant proposal, Title 5, the HIS STEM information technology, knowledge in context. There's the contract renewal for the EAB Global Inc. for Starfish Enterprise, which is the success platform 2021 to 2024. The contract for Elite Sports Builders for West Campus Track Resurfacing Project. There's the contract for the Advanced Network Management for the Wireless Technology Replacement Project. The contract for the AVI, SPI, and Aviation Technology Center Audiovisual Systems purchase for classrooms. There's the contract for delegating authority to execute a contract for the construction service contract manager at risk for the Center of Excellence in Health Professionals. And there's the contract SD Crane Builders Inc. for the West Campus Elevator Renovation Project. And finally, there's the actual approval of items on the consent agenda.
Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you, Damien.
That's okay. And again, because after our study session, I just want to remind everybody that we agreed that we wouldn't read each of the items. So if everybody should read them before and just send an email if there's anything you want to pull to have discussed as a full action item, we can do that. But it's helpful if it happens before, and it just saves a little bit of time. Okay. Any other questions or want to discuss anything? Okay, none. Okay. So let's have the vote again. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Now our action items. The first is 5.1, the proposed annual calendar of regular board and study session for 2022. Mr. Sullivan, if you could please read the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Chancellor recommends that the governing board approve the proposed annual calendar of regular board and study session meetings for 2022 and January 2023.
Is there a motion to adopt the recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none. Oh, Ms. Garcia?
No.
Okay. Okay, so hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. The next is 5.2, the COVID-19 vaccine plan for employees to comply with pending federal requirements. We have 10 minutes set aside for this item. Mr. Sullivan, if you could please read the recommendation.
The Chancellor recommends the governing board authorize the Chancellor or designee to develop and implement a plan to ensure that all employees are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 so that the college is fully compliant with pending federal requirements while minimizing disruption to operations and services for students.
So I'm going to move this item. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from Dr. Hay? Okay, discussion. Chancellor Lambert, do you want to give us a short presentation on this item?
Yes, and I'll just open it up, and then I'll have, I don't know if Dave or Jeff were going to talk about how we're proposing to move forward. As you know, there's been a lot of discussion around vaccines, and then the administration through the President Biden has decided to issue some executive orders requiring federal contractors to be in compliance with the vaccine mandates for its employees, with some exceptions, as noted in this proposal. And again, I just want to bring back, it's about safety and the health of our employees. It's about the health and safety of our community. So I don't want us to lose sight of that bigger picture piece as this item is before everybody. But we are required to do this because Pima Community College is a federal contractor. We have over $4 million in federal contracts. Our biggest federal contract is with the United States Air Force. So with that, I don't know if Dave or Jeff, you want to add anything else?
Could you maybe share the timeline?
You want to take that, Dave or Jeff? Or so what we have done is we have built into a message, if you approve this item, a framework that lays out the timeline in which folks have to meet each marker to be in compliance by January 4th. January 4th was the date that was communicated by the administration in terms of being in compliance with the federal contract requirement. So we backed up from those dates and figured out at what juncture each employee had to meet for those who have not been fully vaccinated. So let me be clear, for those who have not been fully vaccinated. And so I don't remember those dates off the top of my head. If Dave or Jeff do, please chime in. But you'll see that we'll be having clinics. We've been holding clinics here at the college at the different campuses. And I believe we're going to be doing another set next week. We've been partnering with the county. So we'll try to do more of that as we move through the next few months. But also a reminder that people can go out to the Walgreens, the Fry's, and also get their shots there as well.
Okay. Are there any additional questions for Chancellor Lambert or his team? Yes, Ms. Garcia.
Are they going to have the booster shots available at the campuses?
So in fact, so you can go get a booster. I got my booster last week because it's the same shot. There's nothing different from that shot than the shots you got earlier. You just come into one of our campuses and just go ahead and get your booster.
Okay. Okay.
I got the booster 2 days ago at West Campus, and they were awesome. It was easy. I got a sore arm.
Okay.
Awesome.
And just on that booster question, just to, so at Northwest Campus, I believe we ran out of the Moderna shots. So some employees who went there wanted, because they got Moderna, they were hoping to get the Moderna. Some decided to go ahead and get the Pfizer. So we've gotten word that you can mix and match, but I also understand people not being comfortable sometimes to mix and match as well.
Well, thank you, Chancellor Lambert. I think this is, something that the college needs to do. I believe that 100% of the board is fully vaccinated, and many of the administrators. So, I think we've, tried to lead by example, and I think it's important that to protect each other and to protect our students and to protect everyone in our community college family. It's important that we do this thing together. So with that, all in favor? Oh, Mr. Gonzalez.
I just want to mention as well too, that I got my booster yesterday as well.
Good for you.
I'm glad our board members are protected. Okay, so with that, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. The next item is 5.3, the discussion and possible approval to extend the term of the Chancellor's existing contract by 1 year. Pursuant to Board Policy 1.05, Delegation of Authority of the Chancellor, the Board bylaws, and the Chancellor's employment contract, the Board conducts an evaluation of the Chancellor. The typical practice of the Board is to consider extending the Chancellor's employment contract for an additional year and possible revisions following the completion of the evaluation. Consistent with the practice, the Board will consider a 1-year extension and some minor modifications to the employment contract, which included initially 2 additional annual days of leave, but those have been deleted, and the proposed agreement showing the changes accompanies the board report. So do I have a motion to extend the Chancellor's contract?
So moved.
Is there a second?
No.
Second.
Second. Discussion. Ms. Garcia?
Yes. Okay, so I'm not in agreement with extending another year. I'm okay. The Chancellor already has 4 years on his contract. So I would like the board to consider not extending an additional year, because the other part of it is that nobody else has that kind of a contract. Any faculty member can be terminated within 90 days. So I'm just going to read a small statement here. I am being asked to approve an employment contract. I will not support the contract. I believe it is not timely, considering that the Higher Learning Commission has scheduled a focus visit. I have not been provided with clear and compelling evidence that the Chancellor merits this contract, and it is not in the interest of my constituents to approve it for the following reasons: failure to address declining enrollment and lack of clear measurable of student success, academic success; a negative culture that does not support the principles of shared governance and does not encourage dialogue and does not respect dissent; the use of questionable and arbitrary procurement procedures; the unlawful termination of a center administrator for disclosing wrongdoing. When the Chancellor assumed his post on July 1st of 2013, the college reported to the Auditor General a FTSE of 9,514. In the monthly report I received for October 21, the unofficial FTSE, the report was 4,581, an approximate decline of 77%. Mr. Klinko has asserted that the Chancellor's authority has few limits. In my judgment, the Chancellor has certain members of the board have established a symbiotic relationship, which prevents the board from acting independently and from taking appropriate steps to safeguard the well-being of the college employees. For a board member to make an informed decision, there must be provided an opportunity to question actions by the administration and they should be given an opportunity to fully articulate their concerns at a public meeting. I regret to inform the faculty and staff that safeguarding the rights of our employees is not a priority at PCC. That's my comment.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Dr. Hay.
Yes, I'd like to speak to the matter at hand. I fully support adding the additional year. It's best practice for university senior administrators to have a rolling 5-year contract. There's absolutely nothing unusual about that. Chancellor Lambert has been exemplary in his leadership of the college, as was extolled by many of the folks earlier on this call, and many of the board members as well, extolling his accomplishments of the last year. He has achieved his goals in extraordinary circumstances and have elevated Pima Community College to one of the best in the country. And I fully support continuing his contract in support of the chancellor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hay. Ms. Ripley.
Yes, I'd like to make a statement as well. I'm unprepared, but I just would like to respond to the comments. I also agree with board member Hay in that the chancellor in my 10 months I've been here, 11 months, has demonstrated undoubtedly above and beyond performance for a chancellor. And I can say this with all confidence because I did attend the national conference in San Diego. I spoke to many board chairs, many chancellors, former chancellors, and it's pretty astounding what's been accomplished, not only in the last 10 months throughout COVID, but over his entire tenure. I would respectfully disagree with the data that was presented as far as the FTSE. The term symbiotic relationship, I think, is also a very, it's a strong term, and I would disagree with that as well. What I did learn at the conference is that a board is a functioning board should act as a single unit, as one organism. And our relationship with the chancellor is extremely crucial. Is it symbiotic? It's only symbiotic in as much as we all agree that the betterment and the success of the school is the foremost and first priority of our students, our staff, our faculty, and administration. So with that said, you do not punish someone midstream who's been doing an outstanding job. And by decreasing the contract, it is a form of punishment. And on the contrary, if anything, we should be rewarding this chancellor for not only getting us through COVID with flying colors, but taking the college to another level. And I can say this now confidently after observing what happened at the national conference and observing other colleges, other chancellors' contracts. And if anything, we are doing above and beyond what a lot of community colleges are doing, but this chancellor and this administration in particular. We're doing a class compensation study. We're gonna figure it out as far as some of the issues that you bring up about equity in terms of salary. All of that stuff is happening. But for now, in terms of this contract, I think by continuing the same contract, he's not getting any more or less than he has in the past, I think is the least we can do. And it's the least we can do for our faculty and staff as well. So that's my comment.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ripley. Mr. Gonzalez? No, I believe your microphone is muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, it's still muted.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Coming back to the contract, Chancellor. It's on the agenda, as I mentioned before, to approve the contract extension for the Chancellor with an increase in benefits, which now it has changed. But when I look at the present state of the college, I am puzzled that the Chancellor and the board would place this item on the agenda. There are several reasons for my decision to vote against the contract extension. First, our faculty and staff have not received a fair and just compensation increases, while senior managers are provided with enhanced compensation and titles without review or input from the board. I will not vote to approve the chancellor's contract and extension until we increase the compensation of our faculty and our staff. I think it's time that the faculty, staff, and our community consider the other ongoing crisis at this institution. And that crisis is that steady decline in enrollment since the chancellor assumed his post. Let me state that the enrollment numbers mandated by the Arizona State statute are prime importance to the board's deliberations. PCC is required to provide the Office of the Auditor General with certified enrollment numbers annually. The criteria for calculating FTSE enrollment are prescribed by the Arizona Revised Statute 14-146.01 and 02. The reports of the Auditor General contain the following data. The Chancellor's first year ended June 30th, 2014. For that fiscal year, PCC reported a basic annual FTSE of 13,239 and a total FTSE of 17,963. On June 30th, 2020, the college certified a basic FTSE of 9,666 and a total FTSE of 13,874. I remind our community that spring 2020 FTSE was taken 45 days after the start of the semester, and therefore was only marginally affected by the COVID pandemic. These numbers speak volumes about the Chancellor administration of the institution. Less than 10 years ago, for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2012, PCC certified a total FTSE enrollment of 22,028. I understand and make allowances for factors affecting enrollment that are beyond our control. However, it's beyond dispute that this continuous decline of enrollment has occurred on the Chancellor's watch. A leader cannot claim to be responsible for all the college success while shunning responsibility for its declining enrollment. I am very troubled with the Chancellor's more recent evaluation that cannot be discussed in open session. I ask that the Chancellor permit faculty, staff, and the community to have access to the entire Chancellor evaluation file. I am aware the evaluation files of all college employees are subject to public records requests, yet the Chancellor evaluation remains hidden from public view. The taxpayers from Pima County elected members of the board, and they have the right to see how this board evaluated the Chancellor. If the taxpayers of Pima County knew the score he received, there will be little support for this contract extension. All of us have heard the Chancellor and the board profess their commitment to transparency, yet the community, through the elected members of the board, are asked to extend the Chancellor's contract without full disclosure of the board's evaluations. This is unconscionable in a public health post-secondary institution. The Chancellor's contract has been rolled over annually, and he is the only senior administrator with 5-year contract. I am informed the senior administrator can be terminated at wish with a simple 90-day notice. Perhaps we should add this clause to his contract. In my opinion, he seems to be more interested in preserving his employment rights while limiting those of other employees. When board member asks a question or critiques the Chancellor's actions, certain members of the board rush to defend him and criticize anyone who dares question his action. In closing, let me state the following. The residents of District 5 elected me to the board, and their votes conferred their trust in my judgment. I will always exercise my best judgment when taking decisions that affect the college's well-being. Given the present circumstances, I cannot vote to extend the Chancellor's contract. I urge my colleagues on the board to consider this ramification I urge my colleagues on the board to consider the ramification of their vote in light of the pending HLC focus visit. Thank you.
Okay, are there any additional comments? Okay, then I'm going to close with a comment and then we'll vote. Chancellor Lambert, I want to personally thank you for your incredible leadership in steering Pima Community College, not only through the last 6 years of tremendous transformation, but through COVID and the remarkable challenges that we've faced over the last 19 months. Your leadership is undoubted and it is lauded and applauded throughout our community. You are a tremendous asset, not only to this college, but to our region in bringing a vision to realign this institution to the priorities of the economic development sector of Southern Arizona. You have continued in the face of outrageous and continual accusations of wrongdoing and illegal behavior. You have, in the face of unbelievable poor treatment by members of this board, you have continued to act with incredible integrity and aplomb. You have continued to acknowledge and I think responsibly and effectively lead the upper administration and the college. I am particularly grateful to have been here, to have watched this transformation and to have participated in it in the little way that I have over the last 6 years, because it has been profound. I can't think of an institution I have been involved with that has gone through such transformation and come out so far ahead. We are leading the country as a community college, and all you have to do is look to the bellwether awards that we continue to be nominated for, the awards that you've received and that the college has received for this extraordinary innovation. You've led the way in creating a premier community college, and I think we have a long way to go, but you, I believe, are key to that success. And extending your contract by 1 year, I hope, will encourage you to stay and continue to champion this cause and this college in the coming years. This entire region owes you a debt of gratitude, and I personally owe you a debt of gratitude for your commitment and living every day, 24 hours a day, Pima Community College. So thank you for everything that you do. And I am so appreciative, and I plan to vote yes. So with that, I'm going to call for a vote. So why don't we we'll do a vote, voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
The vote carries 3-2 with Ms. Garcia and Mr. Gonzalez dissenting. Thank you, Chancellor Lambert. The next item on our agenda is 4.5, the resumption of in-person meetings. And I will read the description of this item, if my computer will allow it. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the guidance of federal, state, and local health officials, the board changed its meeting format to virtual only. After FDA issuance of emergency youth authorization for vaccines, the reduction of COVID transmissions in the community, and improvement of the Pima Community College, Pima County Health Department disease data criteria, the board began holding hybrid meetings. Subsequently, increase of COVID increased significantly with the outbreaks of the Delta variant, and board returned to virtual only meetings. This is the opportunity for the board to discuss the circumstances and timing under which we might change from the virtual only format. The administration recommends that the board follow the guidance of the Pima County Health Department and the practices of the Pima County Board of Supervisors. So I think in this case, I think we should just have a discussion and see what people want to do. I will say I tend to agree that since the other two major municipalities and major government agencies in our region, both Pima County and the city of Tucson, are still holding virtual meetings, and Pima County is the health agency, we should rely on them rather than bringing all of our top administrators into a single room for multi-hour meetings. because there are now lots of breakthrough cases happening across the region. But Dr. Hay?
Yeah, I agree with your assessment, Damien. I think we should follow the leadership of the Board of Supervisors and the Tucson City Council, who look to Francisco Garcia and his team about when to hold these large in-person meetings. And I think we should hold off at least maybe till mid-spring and see how things fare. That's just my thought.
Ms. Garcia? Your microphone is muted.
I think we should Zoom our meetings and not have virtual. And the reason being is that we're not a municipality. You know, Marana, Vail, and Tucson Unified are all having in-person meetings. And it's not like we get a whole bunch of people that attend our, our board meetings. Now, I would consider it if we limited them. We could do that. I just think.
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
What?
At the very last sentence, you said.
Let me see, I can't remember now. I just think that we should reconsider it. We could limit the amount of people that come in if they're vaccinated. There's other ways of being able to do it. I think we're more effective if we're in person. And I'll end it with that.
Thoughts from anyone else? Yes, Mr. Gonzalez.
And I agree with what Ms. Garcia mentioned. I think it's very important for the community also to come before us in reference to any issues or concerns or wants. But I think we should open it up. That's my opinion.
Ms. Ripley, do you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, so just based on my background and also being, in the military for 30 years, I would always tend to err on the side of safety first. That's just what we've always done. And yes, we are not a municipality, but I do think that following the lead of our city, of our local government, is the wise choice. And always, you're never wrong in erring on the side of safety.
Okay, and I certainly think as we're beginning to explore some of our study sessions, and it's just a very, very small group, we could look at that. I mean, what the county did was there has to be what the county's sort of decision was they had to have 100% agreement, because if somebody doesn't show up, it's not effective. So, this is something where we can vote, but we can't compel people who don't want to come to the physical meeting. I mean, we'll just be in some sort of hybrid format. So this is really like a unanimous decision that we have to make. So based on what I'm hearing, I'm not hearing a unanimous decision at this point, but everybody is willing to do maybe some limited in-person hybrid study session, especially around some of this bylaw review. I think having the meeting with everybody sitting in the room, the entire upper administration sitting in the room, if we actually had a COVID breakout with everybody there, I mean, just from a risk management standpoint, even if people are vaccinated because of breakthrough cases, I mean, it would be very disruptive with testing. So, I think if we sort of do a hybrid and limit, but I've heard, I think ultimately, is everybody's agreement on that? We can try a little bit of in person and see how it goes. And hopefully in the new year, we'll have a new board president and we'll be able to review and think about what other options as COVID cases continue to decline or go up. I mean, there's another spike occurring coming from Europe. So it's sort of unknown. Does that sound reasonable to everybody? And, we still have the opportunity for the public to call and participate in our Call to the Audience. And as we heard today, people are taking advantage of that. I mean, we had 6 people, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a moving target, and flexibility is really, we're lucky. There's 5 of us. I think as long as we keep our ear to the ground and be flexible, it's the only smart way to go forward.
Okay. Okay, so why don't we do this? Do I have a motion to table the item to a future meeting date so we can reevaluate as the conditions change? Do I have a motion for that? Okay, a motion for Ms. Garcia. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of tabling the motion to a future meeting? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, hearing none, passes unanimously. Request for future agenda items? Okay, I would.
Wait a minute.
Yes, Ms. Garcia.
Okay, I'm sorry. One of the agenda items I would like to see is a shared governance focus group, that we could discuss that.
So could you explain a little bit more?
Well, that
So,
would be like to include members of the faculty, the staff, ourselves, and administrators to discuss what they believe would be shared governance, so they could participate in how we set our policies.
So I would, we have these meetings to discuss the bylaw revisions and the policies, which are specifically around these issues around shared governance. And I think in the same way we talked about earlier today, creating a board subcommittee specifically around enrollment, that might be the time to talk about, what a path forward might look like.
Okay.
Since we're going to be talking about it anyway, if that's suitable to everyone, Ms. Ripley.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great concept, Ms. Garcias. And I think in the meantime, I would urge us all to take the Faculty Senate, the Student Senate, the AERC, all of the employee groups up on their invite to attend, and personally, as board members, actually ask each of them individually what their concerns are. They've invited us to attend. And I think that would be doing our due diligence before we have a limited, frantic board discussion about it. That would be my suggestion.
Well, and I think a better way than so that we all hear the same thing would be to, I think out of this, we could ask all of our employee representatives to talk to their groups and then come forward through our board meeting to talk about that. So, I think rather than us trying to go out and everybody hearing something different and then trying to bring feedback, to really use our format maybe to create a clarity of communication that's really formal, approved, and we get to all hear it together. If we're going to go around. Okay. So let's not all run out and start attending meetings, and I think that's inconsistent with our policy. So again, if you're going to any meetings, be sure to please let Chancellor Lambert know. And I will just stress, please, all board members, I would encourage everybody to please get out the bylaw, the current bylaws and the current policy, and just read it over around complaints, concerns, protocol, how we handle ourselves. We have to hold ourselves to the standards that we've already set. And I know we're going through a revision of this, but I'm not sure that we always do such a great job of holding ourselves accountable to the policies that already exist. So please, just as a reminder, to please do that. And I know that'll be on a future agenda item, and we can't be in a discussion about it, but I just want to put that out as a reminder. Okay. So with nothing else, we're adjourned at 8:13.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, Andrea, I will go ahead and put the recording in the drive.